All right. Now, if we are sick, is that a permanent state or a temporary state? Will we be sick forever? It's temporary. So then, would we use Sarah or star? All right, now I'm putting this note on top because this is where I have space, right? But being sick is temporary. So we will use expressions involving a star because a star is for temporary things. Okay, great. All right, so I am sick. Estoy enfermo. Or if you are female, enferma. Right? It is a state, it's an adjective, so it will agree with the gender that it refers to, right? All right, so the infinitive is estar enfermo or enferma, right? To be sick. I have a headache. Oh, actually, let's skip to number 4. I do not feel well. All right. So to feel well is sentirse bien. Right. No me siento bien. So no me siento bien. How did we get this? All right. Well, to feel well is sentirse bien. Right. So it is reflexive. And as well as it is stem changing, right? All right. So sentir, the E changes to IE. So seeing, this new stem will be SIENT, and the O ending is O. SIENT and the O ending is O. And then say, to agree with yo, we use me. The reflexive pronoun me. So no me siento bien, right? I do not feel well. All right, pause it for a minute, then we'll talk about the other two. Now, one other thing I should tell you is, let's say you want to say that you get sick, you are getting sick, you got sick, you would use ponerse enfermo or enferma, right? And honestly, ponerse plus any state is to become that thing. So besides to get sick, let's say you want to say to get angry, ponerse furioso, furiosa. Right? So ponerse is to become, literally. Okay. I have a cold. This one I think a few people seem to know very well, right? Tengo un resfrío. I'll change the color. Tengo un resfrío. Okay. Half a minute, and then I want to clear away 1, 3, and 4, and we will do 2 together. But I want a little more space for number 2. All right, let's clear away 1, 3, and 4. All right. I have a headache. A few people I think answered in the chat. You could just tell me again. In English, we say I have a headache, but in Spanish, we say that my head hurts me. Right? So we say, me duele la cabeza. Right? Now, let's say you want to say, what's another thing we might want to say? I have a pain in my my nose. I have a pain in my nose. Right? I need one body part right now. Okay? So we could say me duele la nariz. Right? All right. Now the infinitive of the verb is doler, and it is reflexive. It is also stem changing. Right? So when you conjugate it, the O in the stem changes from O to UE. So ordinarily, you would take off the ER and you would add your endings, right? But it's not DOL that we add the endings to. We change that to UE. So it becomes DUEL and we add the endings. Now here's the next thing. Dolerse is like gustarse. It takes an indirect kind of object. So this sentence literally means my nose hurts me. My head hurts me. Right? So dolerse, reflexive, and stem changing. And let's give you an example with knees. My knees, I'm old, my knees hurt me, right? So my knees hurt me, right? I'm putting in the me, so it will be kind of obvious. And this time, because knees is plural, we will say me duelen las piernas. All right. So if it's one thing that's doing the hurting, like la cabeza, la nariz, me duele. If it's more than one thing, me duelen. Right? If it were hurting you, it would be te duelen. Okay, whatever the suitable reflexive pronoun is. Sorry, not reflexive pronoun. Indirect pronoun, right? All right, is anybody confused? Does anybody feel like they want to review the structure of doler with the pronouns? You remember how gustar works? Okay, well, in any case, I think we will review it again. We'll do exercise with it at the end of class, provided we have time, right? So we can change up the subject and see. All right, one other grammar rule. And that is, note that in English we say my nose, right? We say my nose, but we say la nariz. We don't say mi nariz, right? In English, we say my knees, but in Spanish, we say las piernas, right? All right. Now, why is that? What is the rule? Whenever we're talking about body parts, we use the direct article. We use el and la and los and las, right? So when we use direct sorry, yeah, more direct. Okay, use direct articles to refer to body parts, right? So direct articles is the, right? And not my, no, okay, so not personal pronouns. Like my, our, your, yours, like we would in English, right? All right. So let me just go over what we have on the screen. And then we'll stop and we'll come back to it at the end of class for some more practice. So, me duele la cabeza. I have a headache. Literally, my head hurts me, right? It's hurtful to me, basically. So since it's one thing, we have duele with an E for third person singular for la cabeza, right? Same for down here for la nariz. So you could go about this two ways. You could just memorize the pattern. Me duele la cabeza, me duele el ojo, me duele la oreja, just one body part, me duele. Two body parts or more than two body parts, me duelen. So my knees hurt, me duelen las piernas, right? So you could memorize the pattern, or we could fight with the grammar and remember that how gustarse works, how gustar works, right? With an indirect object in front of it to show who the preference belongs to, right? So at the end, we'll come back and we'll try with different subjects so we can see it a little clearer. If you have any questions right now, let me know. Now, there is another use of doler, which I will mention. And it's used to say, I complain. So, well, or to complain, as to complain, right? So if you conjugate doler as the person doing the action, the meaning changes rather than from hurt, it changes to complain, right? So if I say, yo duelo la cabeza, I would be saying that I'm complaining about my head. Yo duelo la nariz, I'm complaining about my nose. Right? I haven't seen it used a lot, but I'm just letting you know it exists. All right, anybody still using this slide? Okay, so I'm gonna clear away my handwriting, and then we have some conversations at a doctor's office to look at. Right? Okay, so our first conversation. Hola, doctor. Me siento mal. ¿Podría atenderme? Claro. Enseguida lo atiendo. Okay, so we're making a vocabulary from this, right? So me siento mal. I feel bad. Now we do not want to say soy mal, right? Because that would mean I'm a bad person. All right. Atender. It looks like what English word to attend. to assist, right? Or to attend to. When we go to a doctor's office, we would talk about being attended to, right? And the other words you know from other contexts, right? Claro is of course. Claro or claro que sí. Claro que no. Right? And claro by itself. Of course, yes, of course not. Enseguida, like inmediatamente, right? No. So if you need those, you can take them down, right? But I'm more interested in the verbs that relate to how we feel and expressing how we feel, right? Okay. Next one. ¿Cómo puedo ayudarle? Right? How can I help you? That's pretty standard. Me corté por accidente. So I cut myself by accident. All right. So let's see. Ayudar, to help. Cortar, to cut. Por accidente, accidentally. Revisar, so puede revisar la herida. Can you check the cut or the wound, right? So revisar, to check, to look at, right? La herida, the wound. I see that you will need puntos, stitches, right? So necesitar, to need, right? To require. And then los puntos, I'll put el punto, the stitch. Does punto mean anything else in Spanish that you know? A full stop, right? A point. Yes. A spot, right? I suppose because stitches are so tiny. Well, they should be tiny when you're being stitched up. All right. So I'm giving you a couple minutes here. Please know the vocab. And then we'll go on to the next few. All right. Donde le duele? This is a useful question. Where do you hurt? Right? Where does it hurt? Donde le duele? Where does it hurt? Right? And well, we already did me duele, las piernas, la rodilla. Me lesioné. Okay, so I hurt myself. Well, let me put the infinitive instead, right? Also, guys, I made a mistake on the slide before and nobody told me. Las piernas is legs. I'm not seeing it because rodilla is here. And I was like, wait a minute. I translated piernas as legs. So make sure you correct it in your notes, right? If you didn't already. Somebody, you may have corrected it and you didn't tell me anything. It's okay to tell me if you notice a mistake, right? All right, so lesionarse, to hurt oneself. If something is very swollen, estar inflamada. Inflamado, inflamada, right? In this case, it's inflamada to agree with rodilla, which is feminine, right? So this is to be swollen, to be inflamed. Like if you've ever twisted your ankle, you know how swollen it gets. Right, just like this person who's probably dislocated their knee. Okay, the next one is going to be covered by my writing, but let's peep anyway. ¿Cuál es el problema is another way to say it. Me duele something la espalda. Mucho, me duele mucho la espalda. Right? Okay, so ¿cuál es el problema? What is the problem? What is wrong? Is another expression a doctor could use to ask you what is wrong, right? What is the problem? Right? And look, a command, let me examine it. So here, this is what is the problem. This is a useful phrase. You could use it in other situations too, right? Permítame examinarlo. Permit me, allow me to examine it. All right, I'm going to clear away the top part first to buy some of us a little more time, but still move forward. Okay, I'm tired. I have a cough and I have difficulty breathing, right? And your tests show a lung infection, right? All right, so other symptoms you could say besides me duele, right? So tener fatiga, right? To be fatigued, to have fatigue, right? So it's more than just a normal cansada. We're not just normally tired, right? We're exhausted. Tener tos, right? To have a cough. Okay, and tener dificultad para respirar, right? To have difficulty breathing. Okay, tests are the same. Exámenes for exams. So exámenes for test too, right? Infección, if you want to know that, you can. All right, and treatment time, right? So el tratamiento, the treatment. Right? No es grave. It's not serious. You have to take care of yourself. Debe cuidarse más. Sure. Or like it for yourself, right? Of yourself, of oneself. Okay, this is to have difficulty. Thanks, Alejandro. Breathing. Right? And anything else that's on your list here, the English is below. I know it's tiny, but if you want, you could note, you're welcome to note it if you think it's useful to you, right? Right. Let's just make a plan. So if we're gonna write about being sick, this is our composition topic, right? I'll give it a title. Una visita al doctor. Right? A visit to the doctor. Now, we're gonna start off. Let's try and have the story have like 3 parts. So we have part 1, we have part 2, or we have part 3. Part 2 will be at the doctor's office, right? What do we want to happen and what should we talk about in the first part? Well, before we arrived, what made us go to the doctor in the first place? Antes de llegar, before we arrived. Your friend pushed you off a bike. Okay, that's very exciting. Yeah, I thought you would tell me that you had a cold. All right. Okay, so an accident, right? How do we say accident in Spanish? Accidente, very good. Right? So un accidente. How do we say an injured hand? What's hand in Spanish? Yeah, is hand masculine or feminine? Mano and manas, right? It's mano and manos, sorry. It looks masculine, but it's actually feminine, right? So una mano, herida. Right? There's a small group of nouns in Spanish that even though they end in O, they are feminine, and even though they end in A, they are masculine. For example, you know, agua is el agua, but it ends in an A. Dia, you say buenos dias all the time. Dia ends in an A, but it's masculine. So hence buenos instead of buenas, right? All right, anyway. So accident, injured hand. We'll explain that the friend injured us. Right? Visit to the doctor. Okay, so this is la visita, right? We have a lot of great vocabulary that we could use, right? From our list just now. But what are some things you would want to say about the doctor's office? Will there be a lot of people? What will the doctor do when he examines you? And then the third part could be the treatment plan, right? La tratamiento. I'm realizing we didn't do anything with bandages. El tratamiento. God, no, I want to make everything with that old feminine. No. All right, so the time, la hora, la gente, right? and people there. Okay. Maybe a warning, un aviso. He could give you a warning to be more careful. All right, so this is roughly our plan, right? So please make a note. We know that we're going to try to have 3 sections in our story. All right, anything anybody wants to ask? We're going to have 3 parts in this letter that we're writing, right? We're going to describe what happened to make us first have to go to the doctor. So tell me, when did this happen? It had to have happened in the past. So did it happen last night? Did it happen last week? Did it happen last month? When did it happen? Well, okay, is the incident, what is the incident? The incident that somebody suggested was that our friend pushed us off a bike. So where would it have to happen? It can't happen in school because you wouldn't have your bike in school, right? Last week I went to. So I have one suggestion for yesterday, one suggestion for on the weekend. La semana pasada could be last week. Let's go with last weekend, right? So el fin de semana. El último fin de semana, right? All right, tell me, what is to ride a bike? And what's my best friend's name? My best friend, mi mejor amigo, Juan. And if you want the best friend to be a girl, you could write Juana, right? Y yo. Yeah, okay, so andar en bicicleta, montar en bicicleta, um, pasar en bicicleta, pasear en bicicleta. It's sort of like to walk plus bicycle, right? Um, okay, so we were riding a bike, right? Andábamos, oh, past tense. So anduvimos, remember that andar is an irregular preterite verb. En bicicleta. Where were we going? Para visitar. Where did you all want to go visit? Any normal place that you could see. All right, so andar in bicicleta, to ride a bike. All right, let's see our other friends. So a nuestros otros amigos de escuela, right? Or del colegio if you prefer. Okay, everybody understands this so far? So last weekend, my best friend Juan and I, let me take off this camera from here, went bike riding to visit our other friends from school. All right, now why would Juan push me off the bike? Is he secretly a sociopath? If he is a sociopath, why am I friends with him? So what's a believable reason? Right, he's a joke. It's as a joke. No, we can't say he's a psycho, because then that would beg the question: why are we friends with him? Now, if you told him something and he got angry with you, that's a different possibility. But I think that it's more likely that your friend is just given to pranks and he pushed you off the bike as a joke, right? Or he pushed the bike. Okay, so how do we say somebody is a funny person? A jokey person. What's the word for jokey or funny? Or a person who likes to make jokes. We could use chistoso. Yeah, we could use divertido. And you might also see bromisto, bromista, right? But we will use these for now. All right. So Juan, or again Juana, right? Just remember to make the things agree, right? Es una persona muy chistosa, right? Because it has to agree with persona, even though one is masculine, because I put in the word persona, which is feminine, right? All right. She's a very jokey person. Now what do I want to say? As a joke, he pushed my bicycle, or he pushed me while I was riding. And I fell. All right, so as a joke, the easiest thing to write is como broma. Right? Broma is joke, or in broma. To push is empujar. We will have to put it in past tense. To fall, what is to fall? Caer. All right, so we could say como broma me empujo there's an accent on that O, right? And I fell. So me caí. Accent on the I. Let's see if spell check will pick it up and I will not have to copy and paste. Yes, good job, spell check. All right, it won't pick up the O. I will have to put that. Let me just alter the space in here a little bit. All right, everybody. So, okay, so far, anybody is lost with the Spanish and the translation? You need a translation? All right, now we need to say, I hurt my hand, right? Or I cut my hand when I fell. All right, so cuando me caí, right? Accidentally I again. When I fell, I cut my hand, right? Me corté. And do I say mi mano or do I say la mano? Accent on the E here, right? For future tense. No, it's okay. There's a trick question. I have to say la mano, right? Remember, we talked about this just now. When you're talking about body parts in Spanish, you don't have ownership of the body parts. Apparently, the universe has ownership of it, right? So it's not my hand, my head, my foot. It is the hand, the head, the foot. Always, right? But in English, we would say my hand, my head, my foot. So we always use direct, definite article, sorry, with body parts. All right, so cuando me caí, me corté la mano. How do I say there was a lot of blood? Is it this class I told you all about my favorite word in Spanish? Or was it the older class? I feel it was the older class, you know. But I could share this with you all too. My favorite word in Spanish is I, H-A-Y. It means there is or there are. Right? And you could use it to get rid of, get around all kinds of vocabulary. You could use it to get around commands. You could use it to get around conjugating verbs you don't remember, you're not sure about, right? Right. So the past tense, there was or there were, había. So my favorite word is I, H-A-Y. And second favorite is the past tense of that, había. Right? So había mucha sangre. Que desastre. What a disaster. Right, right, right. Imagine what your mother gonna say. All right, everybody is caught up to here, or do I need to give you some time to catch up? This is way more fun than doing commands, right? Why is there a comma after K? All right, so K disaster, right? Right, everybody good? We can continue. All right, what was the word we just learned for immediately? What was the phrase we just saw for immediately in like the first or second conversation with the doctor? I didn't ask you to write it down. I told you you could. Well, it wasn't even inmediatamente. It was, but that also means immediately. So let's go with inmediatamente. I will come back to enseguida just now. So immediately, what did we do immediately? Fuimos al doctor. We went to the doctor, right? Okay, how was the office? Were there a lot of people? Was it very busy? There were 5 people. That's very specific. Okay, no problem. Había 5 personas. But what do you think happened when the doctor saw me? Oh, okay, you could say it wasn't very busy. Yes, no estaba muy ocupado. And you can say luckily. I say with 5 people, but the doctor, maybe he saw me. V is past tense from there, right? Me. Enseguida. So here's a synonym for immediately. So now we're showing off, right? Why did he see me immediately? Another word you could say besides he saw me is he attended to me. You could say me attendi. In attendo, sorry. He attended to me, me attendo. No, no, no. Attender is ER, so E is the you. Me attendio. Ah, yes, because I was bleeding so much. Or you could use you could just say a causa de la sangre, right? Remember that you have been speaking English for years, and so your brain is going to find complicated ways in English to express something. And granted, you've been working on Spanish for years too, but there are usually simpler ways to say the thing than your brain will formulate in English. So it might formulate like, he saw me immediately because I was bleeding a lot all over the floor, but we could convey the idea the same way by saying he saw me immediately because of the blood. Because I've already said up above there was a lot of blood, right? All right. How am I feeling? Am I in pain? Am I feeling well? Am I feeling strong? How would we be feeling, guys? Would no hand be hurting us? How do I say that? How do I say my hand hurt me? My hand was hurting me. The verb for to hurt is doler. Right. So me duelen los manos would be present tense and for both hands, right? But I need imperfect tense because it was going on for a while. So me dolia, accent on the I, like Kiara is saying yes. Mi mano or la mano? La mano, right? Because the hand doesn't belong to me, it belongs to the universe, apparently. Right? It is the universal hand. All right, so me dolía mucho. So it hit me a lot. Or if we want to be really fancy, do you know the word muchísimo? La mano, right? It was hitting me so much. Oh my God, it was so terrible. Yeah, okay. Okay, what is the doctor going to do to the cut? he's going to bandage it. So vendar to bandage. We didn't do that vocab. We didn't meet that vocab word earlier. Will he clean it first? And we know the word for clean because clean we've met in other contexts before. What's the word for to clean? Limpiar. Good. All right, so we can say he cleaned the wound. Okay, so el doctor limpiaste, limpió la herida. I don't know why I have a capital L there. Y la vendó, right? He bandaged it. So let's put in our accent so we could show that it's past tense. Oh, all right. What is he going to give me? Ha ha, a warning. Okay, yes. All right. No, you think this is vendor, but it's vendar. Okay. What he might give us medicine, he might give us a warning. What's the warning going to be? Yeah, to choose better friends, to be careful and make those types of jokes. Yeah, okay, well, didn't we just say a phrase for to take better care of yourself? All right, so let's go. Medio, he gave me una receta de medicina. All right, so a prescription y un aviso. You could also say los medicamentos if you prefer. If you know that word, you could say that, right? All right, what did he say? So he told me dijo que no, debo, I have to, right? Cuidarme. I have to take care of myself, right? También dijo, what else? How do you say be careful? All right. Also, he said that, right? Here's my favorite word, I, right? I cave. So this is a useful expression. I cave, right? It is necessary that you have to, you must. Right? And then after it, you could use the infinitive. right? So this is a way to avoid subjunctive. So I can, all right, it's just, well, I have cuidarme above. So I can, y'all are saying choose friends wisely. Escoger, sus amigos, one's friends, con cuidado, with care. Let me change sus to los. Right? Now, this little composition, you could also use as a story about learning a lesson if you want, right? You went with your friend and friend is very light-hearted and jokey and pranky, and they hurt you by accident, and the doctor says, choose your friends with care. And so after this day, you remember the lesson, right? You learn the lesson. So I think this story could double as that too. And we have written a little composition. You could put this in a letter to your friend. You're writing to your friend abroad about in your Spanish speaking country, pen pal, about something interesting that happened. And this is it. Right. Now I need you all to honestly look back at the passage, look back at the composition we've written and see if there's any of the Spanish that you cannot put back into English. Figure out. Okay. Tell me it. Tell from this year, right? It has an irregular to command. Remember, look back at your list. And literally it means tell it to me. So how do we translate it? And how do we translate to me? Both direct me and to me are the same, right? So this will be me. What is it? All right, so this year, what's the regular form? D. Guys, are you looking back at your notes? Come, let's try and put it together. Tell it to me, dímelo, right? And an accent on the I to hold the stress. All right, next one, put on uniform. All right, so this one is ponerse. I think, did I use ponerse for this one? Yes. All right, we'll just go through it quickly because we don't have a lot of time, right? So pon from poner, right? I'm talking to you. So the irregular command is pon, right? I'm talking to you. So te, right? It's el uniforme. If I wanted to change this to a pronoun, I would say pontelo, right? All right, get dressed quickly. So vestirse. Guys, I'm just making sure this is the slide that we didn't do last week, right? It was, as far as I remember, it's the last two slides that we didn't do. So viste, did this one already. Okay. Rapido. All right, great. Well, let's go then. What are the two that we didn't do? Did we do, we did this one? All right. Did we do this one? Ah, okay. Well, it's just this one. Thank you, Alejandro, for taking good notes and for telling me. All right, so commands with direct or indirect object pronouns, right? Give it to me. So to give is dar, What would the to form be? What would the to command form be? So we would take, we either say that we take das and drop the s, or we say we go to the ALAO state form and we get da, right? Either way, the give is da, right? To me, it's going to be may. And what is it? Well, it depends. We don't know, right? So in general, we will just use the neuter form of lo, right? Put the indirect first, dame lo, right? Okay, bring it to us. Traer, to bring, right? So either we say we take the to form with the s and we drop the s, and we are left with try, or we go to the ALAO state form, which is try, right? So bring, this bring part is try. To us, nos. It, well, it could be masculine, it could be feminine, we're not sure. We will just go with la, right? And then the order, indirect first, trae, nos, la, and we put an accent on the A to keep the stress, right? Last one, read it. From leer, to read, right? So yes, right? Leyelo. This time just one. So leye for the command form, right? And we add lo to it or la. We don't know. I didn't specify what the thing is referring to. So leyelo, right? All right. So a reminder. We form positive to commands by either you say you go to the third person singular verb and drop the use that form, or you take the to form and you drop the s. And then we add the object pronouns at the end and we put them in a particular order, right? All right, so next week we will quickly do the formal commands, which will follow the same rules for object pronouns. And then we will go to negative, and then the object pronoun will have to move in front of the command. Okay? All right. So today we spent our time going through vocabulary for expressing how we feel if we're feeling sick in Spanish. We did a little composition on a visiting doctor, and we quickly reviewed to commands and direct and indirect object pronouns, right? All right, so next week we continue with commands, guys. Is there a topic anybody needs to review? You could let me know, and I'll try to incorporate it. Other than that, enjoy your week, everybody.